kratom. I want to go over it just so we all have a foundational understanding. What it is, it's a natural leaf from a tree. It grows in Southeast Asia. And when you take it, it acts like an opioid in the body. It acts on the same mu opioid receptors as traditional opioids do. And they have kratom leaf has many different alkaloids. The two alkaloids are responsible for the opioid interactions, and that's mitragynine and 7-hydroxymitragynine. And so 7-hydroxymitragynine, aka 7-O, is actually an opioid compound that has been documented as more potent than morphine. It can be 3 times more potent. I have seen up to 15 times. It really varies depending on what you're reading, but it's very well established that 7-hydroxymitragynine is a potent opioid. Mitragynine as well, but that's the concern, is that it's acting like an opioid in the body, and there's also all of these other alkaloids going on as well. I took Red Ming Da in the capsules, and I bought them at $2.50 at a time, and they would last me about 2.5 days back then. There's different brands like Happy Hippo, and then some of them emulate Happy Hippo more in the style and coloring that makes it seem very fun and energetic. And I don't know if I would have guessed that this was an opioid. I know I certainly didn't when I first discovered kratom. And so this is kratom natural leaf in its natural form, as you'll start to hear. And these extracts are highly concentrated forms of kratom. So they're being manufactured in a way to increase their, I don't know if it's the opioid potency or just increase the opioid effect that it has on the body. And so they're also incredibly easy to ingest. Like I said, I was taking 100 capsules a day at my worst. So 5 times per day, I took 20 capsules at a time. And if I would have known about these extracts, or if they would have been around back then, I would have easily just graduated to them instantly. You'll see that some of them actually, if not all of them, have different serving sizes on them. And so in one shot, you might have 4 serving sizes, but you take a shot and you would expect to take the whole shot. And so that's concerning for many different reasons. And so in addition to the kratom only extracts, you can also mix kratom with kava. Now, kava is different from kratom, but when you put them together, they act very synergistically and they become highly addictive. So Feel Free is a very common kratom kava shot that you will see out in the wild. It's everywhere in gas stations and smoke shops. Once you see it, you can't really unsee it because it really is everywhere. And so those are the kratom extract or the semi-synthetics. These are not technically, they are derived from kratom. However, like I mentioned, kratom has many different alkaloids in its natural form. This is just one alkaloid, the most potent one that it has, amplified to make it a full-blown opioid agonist. So this very, very concerning, very powerful. All of these products are concerning and can be harmful to some. So I wanted to share briefly a recent study that just came out from the University of Michigan. Dr. Sean McCabe found a lot of associations when it comes to kratom use. And now this is not saying that kratom caused these things. It's not saying that people are taking kratom because of these things. It's probably maybe a mix. You can't really tell. But this is what it looks like for kratom users. So about half of them have had a substance use disorder prior to. 4.81 times more increased odds of any substance use disorder. So we see a lot of people who have prior opioid disorders and other prescription use disorders in addition to using kratom. And so in the past year, kratom users, 41% experienced psychological distress for whatever reason. About a quarter of them have had major depression, and 17% reported suicidal ideation. And so to put that into perspective, compared with non-users, you can see these numbers down here in red. Suicide is almost 3.5 more times more likely to be thinking about if you are using kratom, and the other two that you can see here that I just mentioned. And another thing that it was found that kratom is often used with other substances. So The study found a lot of cannabis, other prescription opioids, cocaine, and other illicit drugs. I just wanted to share this with you that there are these associations and these trends. It doesn't really tell us why, but it tells us who is taking it and what they're suffering from. And so I briefly wanted to touch on the kratom related deaths in the state of Michigan. This is data from the CDC Wonder Sudors. It has a bunch of drug overdose data for the USA, and this is for Michigan specifically. Now, I want to point out that these are kratom involved deaths. So it's not saying that 330 people died from kratom. It's saying that 330 people who died had kratom in their system that it was tested for. And now this is from the years of 2020 to 2024. It's the latest data. However, as you may know, kratom is underreported because not everyone is testing for it. Not everyone really knows about it. It's not standardized in drug panels or toxicology reports yet. And so that's just something to keep in mind when you're thinking about this number here. And I think this is my last one, kratom leaf bans and restrictions in May of 2026. So there's been a lot of what I call patchworking when it comes to state legislature. There hasn't been any federal action taking place. And so it's really been up to the states to adopt what's best for them. And so I just wanted to show here the spread. So this year, Connecticut, Tennessee, Kansas, and Kentucky and more localities. Even Utah is very highly restrictive when it comes to kratom, and the military banned kratom. That was all in just the last 5 months or so. And so, of course, there's a bunch of other countries as well. And so you'll see a couple states here that have a very high amount of localities that are banning it. And so you can see different adoptions when it comes to legislation. Some states are banning it, and some states are adopting what is called the Kratom Consumer Protection Act. And that is a regulation act recommended by the industry's lobbying arm, the American Kratom Association.